Hey everyone, and welcome to episode number 23 of the podcast. This is our first official episode as the podcast now called In a Weekend. Now, if you missed the last two episodes, 201 and 202 of the podcast, I invite you to head over to our website or tune in on your favorite podcast player and listen in to find out why we have changed the name and the direction we're heading now. Just to give you a little bit of a short story, this podcast is now called In a Weekend, and we are here to help you to simplify, to automate, and to leverage the assets in your business and your life quickly. With that being said, I have something very special for you today. On Thursday, March 21st, we are hosting our very first live workshop, and I'd love for you to save your seat because what we're going to talk about are ebooks, and it's one of those things that fall into the simplify, the automate, and leverage. We're going to talk about whether or not ebooks are dead or alive in 2019 because I've seen lately a lot of myths and fallacies about ebooks, and we kind of just want to set the record straight and help you to really come to your own conclusion about whether or not ebooks are dead in 2019. You can save your seat at youngpratt.com/ebook workshop. Now let's dive into the topic of today's podcast. And this is kind of the backstory about how I came to write my own ebook and my own journey on that adventure. And yes, I'll tell you, it definitely was an adventure. So let's get to it, shall we? Raising superheroes, dance competitions, and celery juice. What do these three things have in common? Come on, take a wild guess. Before your mind wanders too far to connect those dots, let me give you a little hint. These topics represent ebooks written by me and two of my biz besties, Christy Garcia and Tasha Cole. Kim White and I recently took Christy and Tasha through our own ebook creation process, and Christy and Tasha's ebooks were created faster and easier than they thought possible when we first began. Let me back up a little more and tell you about Kim White in case you aren't a regular listener on the podcast and you haven't met her here yet. She's the founder of My Sexy Business, team, and podcast, and she's the creator of the Book to Business Tour. She's helped hundreds of people share their own experiences using ebooks. Kim and I met nearly a year ago inside of a course called Lights, Camera, Branding with Tiffany Lee Bymaster, who is also known as Coach Glitter. Since then, I have watched Kim help people across the globe apply sexy principles so they can create sexy businesses and sexy lives, myself included. And I'm here to tell you today that I truly believe that you, yes, you can be an author too. Have you ever wanted to write a book? If so, what's been stopping you? Maybe you don't know what life experiences you want to share. Maybe you're trying to figure out how to help others with your experiences all on your own. Maybe you're feeling like a lost cause because you don't have the clarity or confidence you need to move forward to create an ebook. I hear ya. I felt the same way for literally years. I desperately wanted to create a book, and share my own experiences and expertise that I'd gained as a business owner, a mom, and a graduate student. The problem was, I felt totally unworthy of writing a book. I asked myself questions like, who was I to write a book? Who on earth would want to read something I wrote and pay for it? And then, of course, how on earth does one even create an ebook? Can you relate to any of these questions? Now, I have a great love of books and have always held authors in such high esteem. I would constantly compare myself and my experiences to the authors in my own library. And you know what? Each time, I fell short. So my ideas for books lived only in my imagination until I found a mentor and took a class entitled Bestseller in a Weekend. Now, I totally want to admit to you that I completed my book that weekend. Truth be told that I doubted myself and my topic for many months until I finally committed fully and took that big leap. The first book that I actually published wasn't even the book I started out creating in the class in the first place. That book is still in a draft in Google Drive. That first book, though, was a book that I knew every parent needed to read immediately because its contents impacted my own life tremendously, especially when I became a mom, and has since impacted the lives of the thousands of students at my performing arts school, my community, and beyond. Raising a Superhero: How to Unleash Your Child's 8 Superpowers and Propel Learning Through the Arts was published as an ebook on Amazon on April 28th, 2016. Now, I chose the date actually of May 1st to do the book launch because I also happened to be relaunching my podcast at the time to coincide with the book launch, and I had also just moved my performing arts school to a new physical space 1 month before our year-end show. So as you can imagine, I had every excuse in the world to not get the book done. But you know what? I got it done. Was it challenging? You bet. However, knowing that the book was live really just gave me so much confidence, and I was so excited about sharing what I had learned in graduate school in particular and what I had learned by applying the topic of the book in my parenting as well as in my own performing arts classroom. Now, fast forward about 3 years, and I finally received the print book of Raising a Superhero in the mail. And you know what? It was such an exciting day. I was like a kid at Christmas. I unwrapped the book, and to be able to touch it and feel it and see it and smell it and see my name on the cover of a book that I could actually handle and flip through, I have to say that was probably even more exciting than publishing the ebook on Amazon. Just the physical nature of what books represent for me personally, it made getting that in the mail so much more exciting. And I do have to say that the print book will be available to you on Amazon shortly as well. Now, I want you to think about what I just said. It took me 3 years to take my ebook and turn it into a print book. That's how long it took me to gather the courage to actually print my ebook, because it felt very hard and difficult and daunting, and I almost didn't want to do it. However, I'm here to say that you better believe I am so glad I finally took those steps to get the print book made available. Fast forward to now, and I actually have plans to create at least 3 more books this year alone. How is that even possible, you may be wondering? Well, Kim and I have created a tried and true system or a recipe to create books quickly and easily. Remember, this podcast is all about simplifying and automating. We're going to do those 2 things, and we're going to talk about leveraging your experiences with these ebooks. Now, you may or may not know that I no longer believe in coincidences. I did years ago, but as of late, I've had too many things turn out to not be coincidences that I just think everything happens for a reason. I believe that every person, every event, everything happens to teach us a lesson, to create an awareness, to open up opportunities. When Kim and I started talking about ebooks and our different experiences creating them months ago, we both almost immediately started getting question after question from our students and private clients all about creating ebooks. Many of the questions Kim and I received revolve around the idea about whether or not ebooks are dead or alive in 2019. There's a lot of mixed media on the interwebs right now that are taking the stand on either side of that. So we want to invite you again to join us this Thursday, March 21st at 12 p.m. Pacific. Now, if you are listening to this podcast after that date, make sure you get onto our email list so that you know when we open up the doors to the workshop again, because once we run it, we're going to take it down pretty quickly. Now, to save your seat in this workshop, you're going to head over to youngpratt.com/ebook workshop. In the workshop, we're going to talk about the current state and stats on ebooks. We're going to talk about, do ebooks help or hinder your credibility? And we're going to talk about, are ebooks worth the cost of publishing? And I, of course, would absolutely love to have you join me and Kim on this workshop, and please feel free to invite a friend. If there's someone in your life personally or in your business life that's maybe mentioned something about wanting to create an ebook, you can have them go to the same website, youngpratt.com/ebook workshop, and have them get registered and join you so we can, at the end of the workshop, open it up to answer your questions about writing ebooks. Again, you can save your seat at youngpratt.com/ebook workshop. I'd absolutely love to have you join us on this workshop. And did I mention the workshop is absolutely free? Well, my friends, I am so excited to seeing you on the workshop and diving into the juicy details with you about ebooks and whether or not they are dead in 2019. I want to say a great big thank you for tuning in to the podcast today. And I want to just wrap up by saying that I truly, 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 in my heart of hearts, believe that you, my friend, have a book inside you based on your experiences, based on your struggles, based on things that happen in your imagination. And the world definitely needs to be able to read that story. With that, my friends, I want to say cheers to all of the future authors listening today. and I'll catch you all next week.